Okay guys, we've done a vinegar water run through this still. We're going to be running some grape brandy. So we cleaned it before we're going to start our run. So hold on. Okay guys, we're transferring some grape brandy wash over into a 5-gallon bucket. We're straining it in a sieve and we're about to add it to the still and get ready for a run. Thanks for joining Holler Creek Water Shine. We got this pump right here. We're pumping it out of this 30-gallon drum, and we're putting it through the sieve. All right, guys, we got some transferred over into a 5-gallon bucket. I'm gonna be pouring it through that sieve on the top of the still, so that we make sure we don't get any particles that can scorch in our still. Guys, we just take it, we're taking the wash. We got a pump, we're transferring it over to a filtering system so that we can make sure we're not getting any particulates in our pot still to keep it from scorching and burning. All right guys, now we're pouring the wash over into the pot to make that magic happen. All right guys, so when you get an idea and you think something might work a little better, try it out. So instead of pumping it over into a 5-gallon bucket and straining it, we're just straining it this way. Listen, if your pump gets going too fast, you can always kink your line, slow it down, and let your strainer catch up. You know, just use that big brain, figure it out. We shiners, right? We have to overcome and compromise all the time. Yeehaw, boys. All right, guys, this is Holler's Creek Water Shine. As I showed you earlier, we were transferring the mash. We've transferred about 20 gallons of this mash. We filtered it so we didn't get any particulates. We got our propane set up. I would suggest if you can go to Tractor Supply and get you a big canister, do it. Always have a spare. We got it over into our still. This is a 30-gallon copper still. The thing about the still is, the most important things is having your water set up to cool your condenser. You want to keep an eye on your thermometer. You should have a thermometer on your still. So, you know, you can gauge where you're at in your run. So your pot's gonna heat up, transfer over into the line arm, come down into your condenser. And then, important thing, when you first start running, that first little bit, I always filter mine. A coffee filter, you can get filters offline. I don't use my filter for the first bit. I wait and transfer the jar over under my parrot. So, this jar you can toss, put in your fangs, whatever. And then here's our recirculating water. We keep this full of ice. Closer to the run, we'll start doing that, putting ice in there. And then we have our spare jars. Important thing is, have your jars clean, ready. At this point, all we need is can lids because we're gonna be putting filters over top of them so that the alcohol can, some of the volatile alcohol can evaporate off. And we can just write the proof on top, get you a glass beaker and a proofing meter, because you're gonna be wanting to know your proof. And then I have, as you can see, I have pints and I have quarts. You can start running pints to make your cuts easier. And then if you know you're in your hearts, you know you're still, you can always run in your quart jars. And then I just have some extra filters an extra proofing meter, because you just never know. Sometimes they break. Another suggestion, buy 2 triple scale hydrometers, 2 proofing meters. Guys, I'm going to give y'all some links. You can get them all at Still in the Clear. Support Cyrus. He's a great guy. That's where I get my stuff. That's where you should get your stuff.